Hey y'all, it's Kate from the Literary Apothecary and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Soulless by Gail Carriger. This is book 1 in the Parasol's Protectorate series. This was a patron pick for me back in October, September, somewhere around there. I absolutely loved this book so much. But first, let me give you a spoiler-free summary of what this book is all about before we talk about what I loved about this book. This is basically Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Jane Austen. That's kind of like the perfect summation of the vibes in this book. It's a comedy of manners set in Victorian London, full of werewolves and vampires, dirigibles, and lots of tea drinking. Our main character, Alexia Tarbody, is born without a soul. She's a spinster whose father is Italian and dead, which in her society is 2 strikes against her, 3 strikes with no soul. And then she's attacked by a vampire out of nowhere, and things get crazy from there. I gave this one 4.5 out of 5 stars. This book was so much fun. Its wit and charm were just what I needed at that moment, and I loved basically everything about it, and I can't wait to continue in this series. Our characters and our plot played so well together. You've got supernatural, you've got mystery, you've got romance, but what is that real mystery here, and where is that real romance? Like I said, I loved everything about it. Alexia is our main character, and she interacts with a werewolf who is kind of the man in charge in town, but also, you know, maybe a possible love interest for her. But she's also best friends with a gossiping vampire who is absolutely fantastic. I loved his character so much. He was one of my favorites, definitely, in the book. But then she also has this other best friend who is a human, completely unsupernatural, but has horrendous taste in clothing. She's got the worst fashion sense, according to Alexia, and we hear all about it in this book. Her hats are atrocious. Her outfits don't match. They don't match the vibes. They don't match each other. Everything about it, Alexia is like, oh my gosh, here we go again. And I just love our character so much. The vibes was like cozy mystery meets supernatural meets romance. And something about the mixture of those 3 elements for me was just absolutely fantastic. I've got some quotes, some of my favorite quotes, just 2, I think just 2, yep, just 2 here. These are spoiler-free quotes, so you won't be spoiled if you haven't read this book yet, but it gives you a little bit taste of the writing style and the humor that we get in Soulless. So the first quote says, Professor Randolph Lyle was a professor of nothing in particular and several subjects in broad detail. And that quote made me laugh so much. And then our second quote says, she figured no one would be more worried about eavesdropping than a lifelong eavesdropper. And that is kind of a perfect summation of Alexia's vampire best friend, because he listens to everything with his supernatural, super hearing sense, and he eavesdrops on everything and gossips about what he eavesdrops on. And so in this scene in particular, Alexia and him are having a conversation in his own house, and he sets up wards against eavesdroppers, and she's like, in her mind, in our narration, she thinks, well, we're in his own house. Why would he be worried about eavesdropping? And then she says that quote, like, of course he's worried about eavesdropping because he's a lifetime eavesdropper. And I just loved this book so much. I can't wait to continue with this series. This is a perfect palate cleanser when you need something that's lighthearted, but yet has that mystery to it. Will keep you reading because of the characters. They are such lovable characters, and I can't wait to continue this series when I need something else to mix up with all that very serious fantasy that always finds its way to my TBR. Like I said, 4.5 out of 5 stars for Soulless by Gail Carriger. Absolutely loved it. Highly, highly recommend it. And I can't wait to read book 2 in this series. If you've read this series before, let me know in the comments below who's your favorite character. What was your favorite book in this series? What did you love most about this series? As always, my Patreon and my Discord information will be in the description below. Keep reading, and I love you all to the moon and back. Bye.